Welcome back, everyone. We're going deep today into idioms.
Sounds fun.
You know, those quirky English expressions that can make you sound like, well, a native speaker. And luckily, we have this script from a video all about common idioms.
Perfect. Idioms are a great way to...
I know, right? They can be a little confusing, but also kind of fun. Like, what's raining cats and dogs even supposed to mean?
Well, that's the beauty of idioms.
Exactly. And later on, we'll break down not just what they mean, but also where they come from and how you can actually, use them in real life.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's dive in. What's the first idiom on the list?
Okay, so first up, we have break the ice.
Classic.
Right. The script says it means to start a conversation in a social situation. Like, it was awkward at first, but telling a joke helped break the ice.
Makes sense. It's all about, easing that initial tension.
Oh, like when you meet someone new.
Exactly. Or you're in a group where people don't really know each other. You need something to
get things going.
Exactly. Just like literally breaking ice on a frozen river to create a path.
Oh, I see. So it's like you're creating a path for conversation.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Making it easier for people to connect.
That's a good analogy.
It is, isn't it?
But would you use break the ice for any conversation?
Good question. Maybe not for like super serious topics.
Right. Imagine saying, I broke the ice by bringing up my recent surgery.
Yeah, no, not quite the right vibe.
It's more for like lighthearted conversations.
Exactly. Think funny stories, compliments. You want to create a welcoming atmosphere.
I got it. I can definitely see myself using this one. All right, next idiom. And this one I'm sure we've all experienced. Under the weather.
Yes. Meaning feeling sick or unwell.
Right. Like, I'm feeling a bit under the weather, so I'm staying home today.
Exactly. It's a way to say you're not feeling great.
But I've always wondered, isn't sick as a dog more common?
You're right. That's definitely more informal and maybe a bit dramatic.
So is under the weather more polite?
I'd say so. It's a bit subtler. Yeah. Especially in a professional setting.
Makes sense. You don't want to be too graphic.
Right.
All right, on to idiom number 3. Hit the nail on the head.
Ooh. I like this one. It means to describe something perfectly.
Like, when you said I was stressed because of work, you hit the nail on the head.
Perfect example. It's like you've identified the exact cause of a situation or problem.
And it feels so good when someone just gets it. Like they understand you completely.
Absolutely. And the idiom emphasizes that precision. Like hitting a nail right on the head.
Okay, this next idiom is a classic piece of cake.
Meaning something is very easy to do.
The script gives this example. Don't worry about the test, it's a piece of cake.
Easy peasy.
Right, but I've always wondered where that comes from.
Well, one theory goes back to the late 19th century when cakes were given as prizes at competitions.
So winning a cake was like an easy victory.
Exactly. So the idiom suggests that something is as effortless as winning a cake.
I like that, though I can't imagine using it for something really difficult, like performing brain surgery is a piece of cake.
Yeah, probably not the best choice.
Okay, time to spill the beans.
Ooh, juicy. This one means to reveal a secret.
Or a surprise. The example they gave is, we were planning a surprise party, but John spilled the beans.
Oops. The secret's out.
So it's like accidentally ruining a surprise.
Sometimes intentionally, but often it's unintentional.
I always thought this idiom was kind of random, but it turns out it has a pretty interesting history.
Oh, tell me about it.
Well, apparently it comes from ancient Greece.
Ancient Greece, what were they spilling? Olive oil?
Nope, beans. They use beans for voting.
No way.
Yeah. So spilling the beans could literally reveal the election results.
That's amazing. So it went from political secrets to just any kind of secret.
Precisely. Idioms can evolve over time.
I love that.
Next up, an idiom I'm very familiar with. Cost an arm and a leg, meaning something is super expensive. Right, like that new car cost me an arm and a leg.
It's a way to emphasize how much something costs.
Often with a bit of humor.
I mean, imagine actually paying for something with your limbs.
Terrifying.
But it does capture that feeling of spending way more than you expected, like when you get the bill at a fancy restaurant.
Oh, I know that feeling.
And it's definitely more memorable than just saying it was expensive.
It is. It paints a picture.
Okay, we have another idiom about revealing secrets. Let the cat out of the bag.
Ah, another classic.
It means to accidentally reveal a secret.
The script says, we were trying to keep the project under wraps, but someone let the cat out of the bag.
Oops, there it goes. Where does that phrase even come from?
Well, picture this. Medieval markets, people selling pigs in bags.
Pigs in bags.
Yeah. Sometimes dishonest sellers would swap the pig for a cat.
Because cats were cheaper.
Exactly. So if the cat escaped the bag, well, the secret was out.
That's hilarious.
It really is. And it shows how idioms can create such vivid imagery. All right, next up, we have the ball is in your court, meaning it's someone else's turn to make a decision or take action.
The script uses this example. I sent you the proposal. Now the ball is in your court.
So you're basically passing the responsibility to the other person.
Exactly. And the origin is pretty literal. It comes from sports, like tennis or basketball.
Oh, yeah, where players take turns hitting or passing the ball.
Right. It's like, I've made my move. Now it's your turn.
I like that.
It's a really useful idiom in various situations.
All right, time to bite the bullet, meaning to face a difficult situation with courage.
That sounds tough.
It can be. The example here is, I hate public speaking, but I had to bite the bullet and give the presentation.
I've been there. But where does that idiom come from? It sounds kind of painful.
It is. It actually comes from the days before anesthesia.
No way, really?
Yeah, patients would literally bite down on a bullet to endure painful procedures.
Wow. That puts our modern-day anxieties into perspective.
Right. Sometimes we just have to face those unpleasant tasks head on.
Yeah, said it. Like, okay, this is going to be rough, but I'm just going to get through it.
Exactly. And sometimes getting things done means working late.
Which leads us to burn the midnight oil, meaning to work late into the night.
The example is, I've been burning the midnight oil to finish this report.
Ah, the joys of deadlines.
Right. And I love the imagery of this one. It reminds me of like old oil lamps when you literally burn oil to stay up late and work.
It does evoke a sense of dedication and hard work, doesn't it?
It does. All right. This next idiom, I think our student listeners will appreciate. Hit the books.
Meaning to study intensely.
Exactly. Like, sorry, I can't go out tonight. I need to hit the books.
I remember using that one all the time in college.
It's so relatable.
And it uses hit in such an aggressive way, like you're tackling those textbooks.
I know, right? It's like, time to get serious and cram all this information into my brain. Okay, let's switch gears to a more philosophical idiom. Actions speak louder than words.
Ah, classic.
It emphasizes that what we do matters more than what we say.
It's a reminder that true character is revealed through actions.
It's such a universal message.
It really is.
Okay, last idiom for this section. Let's call it a day.
Simple, but effective.
It's a way to signal the end of a task or activity. Like, we've made good progress today. Let's call it a day and pick up where we left off tomorrow.
I see it as a collective sigh of relief. Like, okay, we worked hard. Now it's time to rest.
It's about finding that balance between work and life.
That's so important.
Wow. We've covered so much already. We're just getting started.
I know, right? So many fascinating idioms to explore.
Each with its own little story.
And history. Exactly. And we'll unpack more of them after the break. So stay tuned.
You won't want to miss it.
All right, ready for more idioms?
Bring it on.
Okay, this next one might make you feel all happy inside.
Ooh, is it on cloud 9? That's one of my favorites.
You got it. It describes a feeling of extreme happiness, like you're floating on air.
Yeah, like when you achieve something amazing.
Exactly. The example they give is, she was on cloud 9 after receiving the award.
I love that imagery. It's like, you're so happy. You're above all the worries of the world.
Exactly. It's a much more expressive way to say happy or excited.
Way more. Okay, remember that idiom we talked about at the very beginning?
The one with all the animals.
Yeah, it's raining cats and dogs.
Yeah. Yes, that one.
I've always wondered, where does that even come from?
Well, the origin is a bit of a mystery, but there's one theory that links it to Norse mythology.
Norse mythology, like Vikings and stuff.
Exactly. Apparently, dogs were associated with wind.
Okay.
And cats were associated with rain. So heavy downpour was like these mythical forces unleashing their fury.
That's so cool. I never knew that.
It's amazing how idioms can give us these glimpses into history and culture.
Right. Each one has its own little story. You know, it's making me think we could almost create a story using all these idioms.
I like that idea. Let's try it. How about a scenario where someone's preparing for a big presentation?
Yeah.
At work.
Okay, I'm in. So they're probably feeling a bit under the weather, you know, with nerves.
Exactly. But they know they have to bite the bullet and face their fear of public speaking.
Right. So they hit the books and spend hours researching, preparing their slides, maybe even burn the midnight oil to get everything perfect.
And when they finally deliver that presentation, they hit the nail on the head with all their key points and totally captivate the audience.
Yes. And the feedback is amazing. Their boss is like, you absolutely nailed it. The ball is in your court now to take this project to the next level.
And they leave the meeting feeling like they're on cloud nine.
Totally. Like they can conquer anything.
Exactly. That's the power of a well-delivered presentation.
And it's amazing how we are able to weave all those idioms into a real-life scenario.
It shows how they can add color and personality to our conversations.
And make us sound more fluent and confident. Right, definitely. Going through these idioms, I've realized something. It's not just about sounding like a native speaker.
It's more than that. Yeah, it's also about understanding the culture and history behind the language.
Like spill the beans being connected to ancient Greek voting. Who would have thought?
Right. It's fascinating. Language is constantly changing and adapting.
Reflecting the changes in society and culture.
Precisely. So for anyone listening who wants to master English idioms, don't just memorize the meanings.
There's more to it. Yeah.
Try to understand the stories behind them, the imagery they evoke, and the cultural context.
That's a great point. Okay, so we've explored 14 idioms so far. Are there any other English expressions that you find particularly interesting or puzzling?
That's a good question. One that comes to mind is kick the bucket, which is, well, a rather blunt way to say someone has died.
Kick the bucket? That's a strange one. What does kicking a bucket have to do with dying?
I know, right? It's a little morbid.
So where does it come from?
Well, one theory links it to the way pigs were slaughtered in the past. Yeah, they would be hung upside down by their feet. And sometimes they would thrash around and kick a bucket that was placed beneath them.
Oh, wow. That's a bit dark. That's interesting.
It is, isn't it? But it just goes to show language can be both beautiful and strange.
And how some idioms have these unexpected origins.
For sure.
Okay, maybe we should save those darker idioms for another deep dive.
Agreed. Let's focus on the positive.
We've learned so many great idioms today.
And it's just the beginning. There are countless more out there waiting to be explored.
I'm already thinking of ways to use them in my own conversations.
That's great. And remember, the journey of language learning is all about exploration and discovery. So we've made it to our final idiom. It's raining cats and dogs.
Yes, the one that started it all.
The idiom that makes everyone wonder, wait, what?
I know. But, after learning about its possible origins in Norse mythology.
It's kind of amazing, right?
It is. It's like this little piece of history embedded in our language.
It makes you appreciate how rich and complex English really is.
It does. So what does the script say about the meaning of raining cats and dogs?
Okay, let's see. It says it means to rain heavily. Like really heavily.
Oh, so it's not literal.
Nope. No cats or dogs falling from the sky.
That's probably for the best.
Probably. But it does paint a pretty vivid picture of a downpour.
It does. I can almost see it now. Okay, out of all the idioms we've talked about today.
All 15 of them.
Yeah. Which one was your favorite?
Ooh, that's tough. But I think I have to go with actions speak louder than words. It's such a powerful reminder that what we do matters more than what we say.
I love that one too. It's so true. But I think mine might be raining cats and dogs.
Really? Why that one?
I just like how quirky it is. It's so unexpected and memorable. And now that we know about the Norse mythology connection...
It's even cooler.
Right. Okay, for everyone listening out there...
who's ready to spice up their English?
Don't be afraid to use these idioms. Experiment with them. Have fun with it.
That's the key. Have fun. Language learning shouldn't be a chore. It should be an adventure.
Exactly. And if you come across an idiom that you don't understand, just look it up or ask a native speaker. It's all part of the learning process.
And who knows? Maybe you'll even discover a new favorite idiom.
I'd love to hear it if you do.
Me too.
Well, I think that wraps up our deep dive into the world of English idioms.
We did it.
I had so much fun exploring these expressions, and I hope you did too.
I definitely did. It's amazing how much you can learn from just a few simple phrases.
So true. And remember, keep those linguistic curiosities flowing.
And keep exploring.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a new and exciting topic. Until then, happy language learning.